So thank you very much for your film, and it's lovely to have you here. It's a very beautiful film, very beautifully portrayed, and it has a very intimate feel to it. I think both in the darkness, the general surroundings, and the way that you've directed it and it's been shot. Is that something you purposefully did?
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to make it quite a low-key thing. The important focus here is obviously on the topic and the theme of mental health, both with both characters, obviously very different backgrounds. Bridging them two together in those settings was sort of a key priority, partially because it was on a bit of a student budget, so there's a part of it's there, but I think as well, having those two characters and the focus beyond the dialogue and the conversation between the two being the focus in those sort of small locations and areas and ideas, I think that was a big focus for us. It was very important for the film.
It really feeds into the idea of serendipity. You know, they've made this connection, this randomness of purpose, and you know, it's pinged off something in both of their lives. Is that something that's come from personal experience?
There's a part of it, and you know, I think everyone goes through anxieties and difficulties and has these points in their life, and I think it's a huge part to focus that we wanted to go for, where it does happen to anyone. It can happen to anyone, and the feeling from this is you get the impression that it's your girl Chloe with the issues and not the driver. And over the span of the film, you get the idea that he's also been touched by this and he's gone through something similar, and he has that sort of mutual understanding. Yeah, he doesn't know her exact scenario, but although you wouldn't think he'd have anything going on, he does, and I think that's the idea there, is that it can happen to anyone, whether you may expect it or not.
And you mentioned, George, that it's part of a student film. Is it something you've been working on for a long time?
It was something we put together as part of our graduation project, so it was our final film, and it was put together over the span of, put me on the spot here, but definitely a few months, probably around for 4 or 5 in total for the general production, and then, yeah.
And can I ask, is this your first film?
This is the first film that I've written and directed, so I've played sort of minor parts in other things and random departments, but this is the first time I've got to kind of explore what that's like, writing and directing, so yeah, very enjoyable of an experience.
And how have you found the distinction between writing and directing? Because as a writer myself, I know that you have a vision and you put it forward on the page, and then a director will come along and go, yes, but but doing the both, I presume in some ways it must be harder, yet in some ways easier.
Yeah, you're totally right. It's definitely harder in some capacity, because it's your creative vision there, and you're trying to get that out there. But you're also trying to bear in mind that there's going to be, you can't just kind of push your one vision with it. And I valued really closely working with both the actors in terms of their personal experience, what they were willing to share about troubles that they've had, and work that into the script. Little pieces of dialogue that didn't quite feel right, and kind of change it to something that they would feel more naturally likely to say in that scenario. And there was a lot of instances with that where there's obviously a strong impulse to keep to the original creative vision and the idea, but my experience and now how I see this and how I see these characters could be very different. And again, that feeling that this could happen to anyone and anyone could be going through something and you wouldn't know. I think I was very keen to work very closely with the actors and obviously members of the crew as well in terms of building this story. What feels the most acceptable and what's the most relatable with that, I guess.
You've done a great job.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions from the audience?
Yeah, congratulations. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I love the simplicity of it, and your cast is amazing. The male lead is so convincing. How did you do the casting? Was casting director involved? Did you write this with them in mind?
The script was put together and changed quite a lot. Initially, the film was entirely going to take place in the actual taxi, and it sort of changed and adapted over time. Alongside that, the casting process was, obviously with it being a student film, is a very small casting process. It was myself and the producer, Paolo. We sat on audition sites and we went through and talked to these people and got to do a few line readings. Funnily enough, both Hollie and Charles were the first actors for each character that auditioned, and we absolutely loved what they brought to it and their ideas and their passion towards what this film was trying to be. And it was an absolute joy to work with them the whole time. So yeah, I'm delighted with the outcome in terms of their performances.
Any other questions?
Would you be making a feature film from that or after that, this film?
A feature film from this?
More likely?
I'm not sure. I think it's something where, like, I've never really considered it, to be honest, but I think...
You're doing it now.
Probably it has a good cast in it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd 100% work with both of those actors again. I think they're both brilliant. And I think the story in this form probably works best in a sort of small scale, but I think the idea that we're trying to convey with it, again, that is repeating that, like, it could happen to anyone could be going through something like this. I think it's something that could be conveyed into feature length or any sort of means. I've seen it explored so much in TV and film before and in different ways, so it's...
you could extend it to a such level that to make it as a background of Asian or any other people.
Yeah, and it absolutely could. It could completely work in that format. So yeah, no, it's not something I've considered, but I mean, you never know.
Are you ready for the audition?
Are there any other
That's
questions?
made to be.
Mental health is a big issue.
Yeah.
Brings it to the front.
Say again, please.
Mental health, I was saying, is a very big issue as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it happens to most people, I think, rather
Yeah.
than...
We all go through, some sort of like issues. Yeah.
There's a lot of people, and a lot of people express it in different ways,
Yeah.
and I think that's something, again, as I say, we tried to capture with this, even just to a minor degree. People do go through stuff, and they might not show it, or they might have very funny ways of showing it, whether it be through humour or whether it be by saying nothing. I think it's important to kind of showcase that any age, any demographic, any gender, any background. It's something that can touch every community and family.
The majority of people would,
Yeah.
would relate to.
100%, yeah.
So last question then, George. How has it been for you coming to the film festival today?
It's been interesting, yeah. I've not done anything like this before, so it's definitely been very exciting and a bit of a nerve-wracking experience, showcasing film to an audience, but I'm happy to be here, and it's been great so far. So,
Well, we've thoroughly enjoyed it, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much.